Coming up today on Good Morning BU, debt ceiling debate. Hear why politicians are beginning to scramble as the debt limit grows even closer.
Marathon magic. Hear thoughts from the course after the 127th Boston Marathon.
Flying high and rolling ahead. Hear from players and managers as the club roller hockey team continues its stellar record.
And laying the foundation in our Building the Art House series, designers and builders break down the crafting of a sitcom set. Live from Studio West and the College of Communication, Good Morning BU starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning BU. I'm Sydney Toff.
And I'm Alex Dowd. Here are today's top stories. Republican House leaders are unveiling plans to raise the debt ceiling as the limit approaches. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Republicans' proposal last Wednesday to raise the debt ceiling and cut federal spending. Coined as the Limit, Save, Grow Act, the plan would either lift the debt limit by $1.5 trillion or set a new deadline for March of 2024. Additionally, federal spending would be cut by $4.5 trillion. President Joe Biden and House Democrats immediately rejected this proposal, advocating to raise the debt ceiling without any conditions. Speaker McCarthy wants a renegotiation.
President Biden and Senator Schumer have no right to play politics with the debt ceiling. Their extreme positions risk provoking the very crisis they claim to want to avoid. They need to sit down, negotiate, and address this crisis.
The future of the abortion drug mifepristone will be decided today after a Supreme Court order extended a pause earlier this week. Justice Samuel Alito issued an order Wednesday to delay the final decision on access to the drug until later today, keeping access open. The court is considering whether to allow a lower court ruling banning mifepristone across the U.S. to remain in place as it makes its way through the legal system. The ruling has caused uncertainty among healthcare providers, and House Minority Whip Catherine Clark told CNN that the confusion is dangerous.
23 years of safe and effective use. And this judge, ideologically based, has put science aside and threatened not only this drug, but every single drug that has been approved by the FDA.
The decision will have a particular impact on college students. A new Gallup poll from this week reported that over 70% of college students said abortion impact played an important role in their enrollment decisions. A slightly smaller 60% of unenrolled adults agreed, saying that abortion access was at least somewhat important. This comes just a few months after the Dobbs decision overturned Roe v. Wade and threw abortion access into freefall.
The 84-year-old white man who shot black teenager Ralph Yarl is out on bail. Andrew Lester was arraigned on Wednesday for charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action with a $200,000 bond. Yarl was shot twice, once in the head and once in the arm, but is making a full recovery at home. Students from his high school in Kansas City organized a student walkout on Tuesday to support him. Donors have raised over $3 million in a GoFundMe for Yarl and his family. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says that the White House has been in contact.
The president had the chance to speak on the phone with Ralph last night, in addition to talking about Ralph's success in high school, his hopes for the future, and wishing him a speedy recovery. The president committed to Ralph and his mom, as he has committed to so many other survivors, that he will continue to fight for gun safety reforms.
A man in Maine is facing charges for killing 4 people in Bowdoin. Police charged 34-year-old Charles Eaton for the shooting deaths of his parents and 2 family friends at their home in Yarmouth. Eaton is additionally allegedly responsible for wounding 3 on Interstate 295 shortly after the killings at his parents' home. Eaton has a long criminal record of convictions and short prison sentences, including domestic violence, aggravated assault, and endangering the welfare of a child.
The Boston University chapter of It's On Us, an organization working to combat sexual assault on campuses, held its first survivor vigil this week. The goal of the vigil was to honor those whose lives were lost to sexual violence and to celebrate the survivors. The group gathered in front of Marsh Chapel on Wednesday night with groups from around the university and the city for a candlelight vigil with a guided meditation. Neve Khalist's organization, Survivors Awareness, was one of the groups at this vigil.
I feel like a lot of people are forgotten and a lot of voices are silenced. And I think that's why we need to do a vigil to kind of uplift those voices and remind people that you do matter and that you are important.
And now coming up next on Good Morning BU, the magic of the marathon takes over Boston. Haley Pitcher was on the scene to catch all the festivities.
And later, the roller hockey team is gliding to glory. Bobby Serafin dropped by practice to see how players are coming together this year.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly,
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back to GMBU. SpaceX is assuring people that its new rocket is a success, even if it ran into a little bit of trouble yesterday mid-launch. The company... Morning. The company launched its Starship rocket yesterday morning, an unmanned recyclable vessel that they hope will one day carry astronauts to the moon. After an initially smooth launch, the ship underwent what SpaceX called a rapid, unscheduled disassembly, exploding after just a few seconds. Still, engineers say that the launch itself was a success. SpaceX owner Elon Musk told employees that he hopes to reach orbit with a similar rocket by the end of 2023. And now back here on Earth, runners and spectators took to the streets this past Monday to commemorate this year's Boston Marathon. And as GMBU correspondent Haley Pitcher says, the crowd was as lively as ever.
The Boston streets were filled with shouts of celebration and echoes of pride at the 127th Boston Marathon, proving that 10 years after the Boston Marathon bombing, nothing can keep this city silent.
This is our first ever Boston Marathon, so I think we're all just really excited to be here for the first time and be in the environment. It's really cool so far, so.
The marathon is one of the most notable events in Boston, as it is almost always held on Patriots' Day to commemorate the first battles of the American Revolution and celebrate the start of spring. The marathon brings spectators and runners from all around the world together, celebrating unity more than competition.
There were several runners. They would see the finish line and then suddenly collapse. And then then other runners would help them up. And so when I see these people make it, I get so much joy. I get tears in my eyes.
Security was especially hands-on, as this year's marathon marks the 10-year anniversary since 2 pressure cooker bombs exploded near the finish line, killing 3 people and leaving hundreds more injured.
Well, every year is important security. As you guys know, the bombing that happened a while back. So it's good to check, have all these security checkpoints.
I live in California, but I come out here because my daughter ran the marathon in 2013, the year of the bombing. So I've always had a special affinity for Boston Marathon, and I tried for years to get to volunteer, and I was finally picked 4 years ago, and now I've come back every year.
The winners of the race included Evans Chibet for the men's leg of the marathon and Helen O'Beary for the women's leg. The Boston Marathon is truly a once-in-a-lifetime event. Not only does it bring together the Boston community, but it brings the global community along with it. Reporting from Copley for GMBU, I'm Haley Pitcher.
Thanks for that, Haley. Despite celebrations closer to the finish line, 2 running groups are alleging they were subject of racial discrimination in Newton. A complaint issued by Lawyers for Civil Rights Boston alleges 2 clubs, Pioneers Run Crew and Trailblaze Hers Run Company, were boxed in by police as they tried to watch the race. Comprised of primarily black members, they argue they were racially profiled. Newton police, meanwhile, say they were only responding to claims of spectators crossing the roped barrier into the race. Boston Athletic Association President Jack Fleming issued an apology yesterday, saying after a meeting with the groups they did not deliver, quote, on our promise to make a great day for everyone.
Representative Ayanna Pressley and Senator Ed Markey are taking on qualified immunity in Washington. The pair introduced the Ending Qualified Immunity Act on Wednesday. This act, if passed, would allow people to sue police officers that they believe have violated their civil rights. The doctrine was established by the Supreme Court back in 1967, and it prevents cops from being sued in job-related matters if they do not clearly or knowingly violate the law. Pressley says that this protection overwhelmingly harms the black community.
It is past time for Congress to fulfill the promise of Reconstruction, to fulfill the promise of equal justice under the law, to fulfill the promise of protecting our constitutional rights. Black lives matter.
The College of Communication has a new journalism chair, Brian McRory. The former editor of the Boston Globe, McRory takes up the mantle as the journalism industry faces the whirlwind of challenges in the social media age. He sat down with BUTV10's Art of the Interview to discuss how he's approaching his new role. Here's a snippet of their conversation.
What is the headline of your first 3 months here at BU?
I'm walking into a department that is on really strong footing. It's got an excellent faculty, and I'm really excited about that. It's well funded. We're at a university that is obviously on the rise and very prestigious. The benefit, I think, of having me and some other professors coming in now is you're bringing people straight in from the industry who have been there and done it amid an industry that's changing very, very fast, so that we can bring in current know-how to the department and hopefully update it in a lot of different respects. In my perfect world, we would actually build a newsroom right here in this building, and it would be professionally staffed with editors who would work with faculty and students. And giving students the real-life, real-time experience of what it's like to write in a newsroom. Newsrooms of this moment have different needs than maybe what they had 10 years ago. And a lot of the new faculty, myself included, are uniquely equipped to see what those needs are. More urgent news, more hyper-local news.
Now, when we talk about faculty, we also have to talk about diversity. Walking down the hall in comm, where you have all of the faculty's photos lined up, you see 4 faculty members that are of color. Mm-hmm. So what do you think that says about BU Comm?
I think it says that we need more diversity, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We need more diversity in comm. It's about having intentionality when we hire and making sure that our applicant pools reflect the needs of the university.
In order to appreciate where you are today, we have to understand where you come from. You spent over 30 years at the Globe, but in your first 4 months as editor, the Boston Marathon bombing happened. We're at the 10th year anniversary. What feelings do you still have from that time?
Very deep feelings. It was a catastrophe that is almost impossible to get your head around how awful it was. I was really proud of the community and how it responded. Boston really showed its very best. And I was really proud of the Globe and how it covered this. We won the Pulitzer Prize for our coverage, but more important than even that,
We had all vowed to ourselves in the Globe newsroom and that the Boston Globe was there to represent the victims for as long as it took. And we needed to do that with empathy and with humanity. And I think that's what separated us from everybody else in this story.
Professor McGrory, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Great questions. Thank you.
If you would like to hear the rest of Professor McGrory's conversation with Art of the Interview, please check it out on BUTV10.com. Coming up next on Good Morning BU, the Art House premiere is fast approaching, and crews are rushing to put the finishing touches in all the sets. To discuss the challenges they're facing, Evan Jimenez joins us with his latest installment of Building the Art House. Stay tuned.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. Next Friday is the premiere of Art House, the student-run sitcom filming in front of a live studio audience. As the actors and the crew prepare, set designers are busy constructing the actual house. In the final installment of our Building the Art House series, let's take a look as they put on the finishing touches.
Steven Velasquez cares a lot about the little things. A graduate student, he's one of the lead production designers on Art House, where he has spent nearly a year mapping out the set.
My job is to create these pictures that the camera can play with and manipulate, and that can allow for scenes to take place.
Since last May, Velasquez has worked with his team to model and design a set that can meet the demands of a television production, something he's still getting used to.
As a theater maker, we're very used to creating an entire space, not necessarily a space that is made to compile specific frames. But for this, it's definitely much more based in realism.
Helping make this model a reality are Rihanna Valencia and Beck Carlin. Valencia, the project manager, is in charge of making sure the build goes off without a hitch.
It's been a really amazing learning curve, actually, just learning about what cameras need and how much set deck is necessary. Usually for a theater production, we kind of just build some stuff.
For this build, Valencia says that precision is paramount.
Because it's film and TV, we have to make sure it's accurate and make sure all the details are there to perfection.
Doing a lot of that detail work is Carlin, who is one of 2 technical directors.
I really enjoy the process of all the puzzles and the problem solving, and it's so rewarding to be able to see something on a screen turn into something in space. I just love being able, that's what I love about doing this.
Carlin says that one of the perks is working with an incredibly close-knit team.
It's necessary. I mean, there's only about 12 of us, grad and undergrad, in the technical direction program, which leads to such great community. We all know each other, we all trust each other, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we can play to that when we do a big load-in like this.
For Good Morning BU, I'm Evan Jimenez.
Thank you so much, Evan, for covering that story. Coming up next, Ice hockey season might be over, but the roller hockey team is just getting started. Bobby Serafin has that and so much more with this week's GMBU Sports Report.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. The season is rolling on, and so is our roller hockey team. Here's Bobby Serafin.
Boston University has already had a very successful hockey season on the ice, and that winning has made its way onto the hard court. The club roller hockey team, founded in 1998, is headed back to nationals for the second year in a row. While the team has played lights out this year, senior captain Aiden Cliff believes this team is about more than just winning.
Due to our kind of lighthearted culture that we have, it has actually contributed to a lot of our success both on and off the ice. Just being here, having a good time with all of the guys and all the girls, and being able to have this sense of community, have this sense of family to lean back on is something that is keeps people coming back.
Cliff mentioned that the team exists for the enjoyment of its players and that when the team is having fun, they play their best hockey.
This team plays best when we are very lighthearted and we're just all out there having a good time. Because when it comes down to it, that's why we're all here. That's the one common thing, that's why we're all out here.
The team has been co-ed for years, and that's given players like sophomore Miranda Lemus the opportunity to continue to play the sport that she loves.
I think being one of the only girls out there it helps us play harder and want us to strive for more, grow the game, and have more girls come out and play. I mean, we try and invite as many people as we can to come out, and I mean, every semester we get 1 or 2 more girls. So.
Lemus is also a member of the girls' club ice hockey team. She said that for many players, playing roller hockey makes you a better player on all surfaces.
When you go from ice to roller, your ceiling just rises.
Coming into college, several players on the team didn't have roller hockey on their radar. Freshman Justin Davids, who had played ice hockey for most of his life, tried out the team this fall and immediately fell in love with the sport.
This year I just decided to play roller. Thought it was going to be a good environment, good group of guys, and it's been great.
For Davids and many others, it's the people that makes this group so special. The team opened their nationals run with a pair of wins on Wednesday, defeating UC Santa Barbara 7-6 before catching fire for a 10-2 victory against Missouri S&T. Reporting for Good Morning BU, I'm Bobby Serafin.
Thanks, Bobby. Coming up next, taking on the world one day at a time. Hear how one BU student is not letting her cancer diagnosis stop her from doing the things that she loves.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did. It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/ earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back. Now, for anyone, a cancer diagnosis can be devastating. With hospital trips, bills, and often insurmountable pain, it's hard just to get through the day. But almost a decade after she was first diagnosed, one BU student is ensuring that she makes every moment count. Here to tell us that story is Lainey Broussard.
Camille Wall, a sophomore in the College of General Studies at Boston University, has been fighting cancer for over half her life. After being diagnosed with a type of bone cancer called osteosarcoma at the age of 10, Camille says her life has been filled with countless hospital visits, clinical trials, rounds of chemotherapy, and scans. However, back in March, she received some news that flipped her world upside down.
Recently, in March, a few weeks into the spring semester, I had a scan for the protocol of the clinical trial I was on, which unfortunately revealed 2 rapidly growing and inoperable tumors in my left lung. So that really shook my world. And hearing that these were inoperable, I knew that the treatment that was to come was going to be pretty intensive and pretty hard.
It was then that Camille's team of doctors at Boston Children's Hospital encouraged her to start thinking of her future, something that prompted her to create a bucket list that has attracted the eyes of thousands on social media.
Why a bucket list? Where did this idea come from, and what's the significance of a bucket list to you?
So I've always had somewhat of a list going through this all my childhood, but I've never really put it on paper and published it like I did. And I have now, in an attempt to connect with and meet my favorite band, which is Boy Genius.
The hashtag Camille to Meet Boy Genius has been circulating social media this past month, even garnering over 200,000 views on Twitter alone. For Camille, crossing this item off her bucket list would mean more than just getting to meet her favorite artist. It would be about her showing that life doesn't have to end after your diagnosis.
We all go through tough times in life, and whether it's cancer or another chronic illness, or even just like the stress of finals and school, anything, I think everyone deserves to take a moment to take a step back and think about what really matters to them and, why we're here living this life.
Living a life where every moment counts. Reporting from Boston for Good Morning BU, I'm Lainey Broussard.
Thank you so much for bringing us that story, Lainey. And for the final time this year, on behalf of everyone here at GMBU, thanks for joining us on Friday mornings. It's been an honor.
But before we say goodbye, we'd like to give a special shout out to our producers, Evan Jimenez and Kelsey Martirano, who are graduating in a week. They relaunched GMBU and keep it running smoothly each week. We wish you the best and we'll miss you.
And for the rest of you, we'll see you back here next semester. I'm Alex Dowd.
And I'm Sydney Toff. Stay safe and have a great summer.